Welcome to our APUSH final. We will be discussing
AIDS and smallpox, Ebola and influenza.
E. coli and polio.
Enjoy these national crises.
Hello, China. What symptoms have you been having?
Well, it's been a range of fevers, headaches, muscle aches, and even rashes.
I see your weight has been dropping as well. Have you been sharing needles lately? Are you sexually active?
Yes to both of those. It is found AIDS originated in Africa. The world viewed AIDS as a homosexual or gay man's disease because Gaten Dugas, also known as Patient Zero, was a man who had sex with a man in 1984. Since then, he has been blamed for the spread of AIDS, leading the LGBTQ+ community, especially gay men, to be targeted. Research shows African Americans express greater support for policies towards AIDS, while white people rather blame them for their illness. Not only that, but barriers begin to be set up against certain healthcare and certain individuals denied coverage by insurance companies. Smallpox appeared in China in the 4th century. Early written descriptions also appeared in India in the 7th century, and in Asia Minor in the 10th century. The earliest credible evidence of smallpox was found in Egyptian mummies who died some 3,000 years ago.
Hi, Liberty, good to see you again. Have your headaches gotten worse?
Yes, now I have fevers, severe back pain, and severe fatigue.
Oh my goodness, what's on your arm?
Smallpox can cause a severe rash over the whole body that can leave scars. Death occurs in about 30% of the affected people. It also killed more Native Americans in the early centuries than any other disease, which affected Americans greatly. It also devastated the Aztecs, killing among others the second to last of their rulers. In fact, historians believe that smallpox and other European diseases reduced the indigenous population of the North and South America by up to 90%, a blow far greater than any other defeat in battle.
I had a crow. I named it Enza. I opened a window, and influenza.
Influenza was spread so quickly partly because it was misdiagnosed. 3 million U.S. cases per year. Airborne respiratory droplets were a reason it spread, such as touching and contaminated surfaces, saliva, kissing, and sharing drinks. Skin-to-skin contact, just like hands and hugs. Why it spread so quickly? People were healthy a couple of days ago and fighting for their lives the next. Influenza paralyzed the city. Schools were closed, public meetings were banned, population continued to get sick. Influenza spread so quickly, so did fear. People isolated themselves, not speaking to anyone, avoiding crowds, bodies piled up in hospitals, porches, streets, and in homes. Nurses were at the forefront. I hope as you listen to this, it reminds you of COVID. This is basically the past year that we had. We had to stop gatherings, schools closed, and nurses were at the forefront.
Oh hey, I haven't seen you in quite a while. Where did you go for your field research?
Oh, I went to South Africa to study.
Oh, Africa? You get away from those nasty diseases. Holy crap.
Even though this looks crazy when viewing, something to note is that people generalized Ebola into a continent disease. In reality, Ebola took place in West Africa during the outbreak time of 2014 to 2016 and discovered in 1976. Getting Ebola in the United States is extremely rare. It spreads by blood products such as unclean needles or unscreened blood, by touching contaminated surfaces, and by saliva such as kissing or sharing drinks. There are less than 1,000 U.S. cases per year. However, irrational fears and politicians eager to show toughness in protecting constituents led to needleless quarantines on doctors, nurses, and other workers. Even when they had no symptoms of the disease and no chance in infecting others, governors in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, and other states amped up the panic by imposing mandatory or virtually mandatory quarantines on people they thought were potentially exposed in West Africa.
The polio disease was a highly feared disease in the U.S., with a major outbreak happening in 1949 to 1952.
Good morning, China. How has Sheila been?
Good morning. This is not a good morning. Sheila has polio.
Calm down. What symptoms does she have?
Fatigue, fever, she feels faint, like she's wasting away. Oh Jesus, she's gonna need one of those iron lungs or something.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Only 1 in 1,000 cases of polio result in paralysis or other serious symptoms that involve that. Ma'am, panic is not...
Don't you see all those kids in the wheelchairs, leg braces? I don't want her to be like that.
Polio is a viral disease spread by contaminated foods and through infected stool. Most cases have no symptoms or general illness, like rashes, nausea, and fever. But 1% of cases can lead to permanent paralysis, with half of the cases involving children under 5. The sight of children with wheelchairs, crutches, and deformed limbs, and even having to need a strange, bulky iron lung to breathe in cases the disease affected their lungs and their upper spinal cord. Americans fell into mass hysteria. This led to people to avoid schools, public places, and even others in a matter that is very similar to both influenza and a more recent COVID-19 pandemic. And it also pushed the US government to work with other countries, to forward a mass vaccination effort. This coincided with America's foreign policy at the time, with it being heavily involved in the world. But like the period before, and similar to Americans today, this did not come without fear, leading to the distrust of others. E. coli had many outbreaks in recent years, but most notably in 2014 and 2015 in the US. E. coli is a bacteria normally found in all human bodies, but dangerous strains can infect food, especially raw vegetables, as it did to Costco celery in 2014 and Chipotle in 2015.
I've had stomach cramps for the last hour. I believe I have E. coli.
I see. Did you get any other symptoms like vomiting, nausea, bloody stool?
No, but with all the news about it infecting the US, I believe it's better to be safe than sorry.
Well then, why do you think you got it?
Well, as I'm eating this burrito, I'm getting a stomach ache. The news says that this place has had E. coli in the past, and salmonella.
Hundreds were infected by this food poisoning bacteria, but mainly businesses were hurt from over-sensationalized media reports, fear, and thousands of products being recalled. However, on the bright side, instead of holding an isolationist view like back then, the US government worked with other nations to research the disease, and the blame was generally not put on a minority group, even though there was mass hysteria.
All these diseases combined made people feel a multitude of emotions. People felt scared, distrustful, and confused, which often led them to making scapegoats out of groups who were innocent but different.
Americans were not an exception to this. Although now the US is more willing to work with other nations to research and is making progress towards a more open society, the parallels of distrust, scapegoating, mass hysteria, and misinformation between these past diseases and the ones today show that there has only been a reinforcement of Americans' perspectives of the world.
Out in the world, government-wise, with the U.S. helping to research disease just like in the 1940s to 1980s, however, only to benefit the U.S., but also fearful, ignorant, and closed off in regards to others during times of crisis, just like the isolation of the 1890s to the 1930s. Bye!